Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. In Kentucky, winters aren't too cold, but every once in a while we get a small blizzard or ice storm. When I was a teen, one of them fell on a day in January. The roads were closed for 3 days and school had already been called off. My mother had packed my brother and me up and taken us to her sister's house before the storm hit. My mom was always afraid of storms, no matter what kind they were, and felt safer if we weren't in our sad little house. When I played dress-up, a pair of underwear and dresses, and once in a while a pair of nylons were the best things I could wear. I had only worn a nightgown once, and I didn't have anything else to wear with it. I would turn on the water in the bathtub and quickly put on whatever was around. I would then enjoy a couple of minutes of alone time and put everything back the way it was. After splashing water around, I'd leave wearing a wet towel and no one would know. Many times, I swore I would never do it again, but a week later, I was back in a dress. I had no self-control at all back then. Just seeing an edge of lace made me want to try on everything I could find that had lace. Since then, I have gone through 2 major purges of my wardrobe, but each time I was able to get more, but at that point in my life, I didn't even own a pair of pants. We went to see my aunt, who was happy to see us. Her husband drove a truck and was going to be gone for a week. She and her 2 kids, a boy 2 years older than me and a girl my age, were looking forward to having visitors to break up the monotony of being stuck inside all day. On the first day, we had a good time watching the ice form on the trees and then the snow fall. The state police shut down all the roads, so nothing moved near my aunt's house in the country. When night came, we all got ready for bed. I thought I would sleep on the couch or a pallet on the floor. Each of my cousins had their own room. The older male cousin had a double bed. My aunt and uncle's room had a king-size bed. When my aunt started talking about where people would sleep, my heart almost went to my throat. Since my male cousin and I didn't always get along, my younger brother was supposed to sleep with him. There was one room left that was from one of my older female cousins who moved out of the house not so long ago. But a lot of the wardrobe was still left there. This would be my room for tonight. I was all by myself in a girl's room. All by myself with the clothes, the canopy bed, and a whole night to myself. I tried to act cool about it and hide how excited I was, but I wasn't very good at it. Still, no one seemed to notice. And an hour later, I was lying in the most frilly, girly bed I'd ever seen. I lay there with my eyes wide and my ears pinched, waiting impatiently for everyone to go to bed. The covers were embroidered with flowers and teddy bears, and the sheets were pink satin. I finally thought it was safe to get out of bed and peek down the hall. Nobody was moving. It was dark everywhere. Time had come. I shut and locked the door, then pulled a rug up and over the bottom of the door so that no light could come in. Then I turned on the lights and went through the dresser on my tiptoes. How my hands were shaking as I pulled out the first drawer. How fast my heart was beating when I saw the mess of silk and satin ties I found there. I took out every pair of shoes to find the nicest and most attractive ones to try on. It didn't bother me at all that my cousin was a very pretty girl who liked to wear clothes that were very girly. At that time in my life, I didn't know how much I wanted to be with a man while I was dressed as a woman. At that time, when I wore girly clothes, I felt like I was getting closer to those dreams. Soon, I chose a pair of silky pink pants with lace around the legs and a lace flower on the front. I put them on and was so excited I almost passed out. I had only thought to wear the pants and a nightgown, so that's what I did next. I was looking for nightwear, but when I opened the next door, I saw a pretty white top instead. I regretfully shut that drawer and kept looking for a nightgown because I thought I was already taking enough time. Once I found the nightgowns, I chose one, put it on, turned off the lights, and went back to bed. It was such a great feeling. I pretended to be a girl as I lay there in my silky nightgown and pants. Even though the door was locked, I pulled the covers up to my neck because I was still afraid someone would come in. Everything felt so good. I couldn't sleep, though, because I didn't dare take that chance. I could sleep until morning, but where would I be then? Then I thought about that top, and I started to wonder how it would feel to wear it under a nightgown. I finally couldn't hold back any longer and got out of bed. I quickly turned the light back on and ran back to the right drawer. There it was. This one was so nice. The top had delicate lace trim and a beautiful floral pattern. I couldn't resist slipping it on over my head, feeling the soft fabric. After putting on my nightgown again, I turned off the lights and went back to bed. I laid there in the dark, with the covers just below my neck. I pretended that I was a girl, and that if anyone came in, they saw so too. I thought that was the normal way for a girl to sleep. I laid there in pure happiness for a few minutes, imagining what my life would be like if I were a woman. I would sleep in this wonderful bed and wear my pajamas and nightgown, just like I do now. And I had to decide what I would wear to school the next day. Definitely a dress. What's more, after thinking about it for a while, I decided to get up and put on a dress to make it look like I was getting ready for school. As my courage grew, I slid off the bed, turned on the lights again, and walked back across the room to the dresser. I opened each drawer quietly, hoping to find what I was looking for. It was at the bottom of the drawer. It was knee-length and made of satin. It was pure white and had lace at the bottom and on the top of the bodice. It was so perfect and felt so good on my face. I opened the top drawer where I had seen nylons earlier. I chose a pair that was tan in color. I put the nylons on my legs with care. Then I put the dress over my head and headed for the closet with determination. Then I noticed the best feeling I had ever had up to that point, the way a cool dress felt as it slid down over my legs. I just stood still in the middle of the floor and smoothed the dress. I had only seen my mother wear cotton ones, nothing like this heavenly dress. I still wasn't done with this dream. I didn't like how it looked because it messed up the smooth lines of my girly pants. I glided across the room to my cousin's closet to choose a dress to wear to school. That's when I lost my nerve. I knew that closet was against the wall of my male cousin's room, and I also knew that the door folded out and could be very loud. I thought about how likely it was that I would wake up my cousin or brother if I fumbled around in the closet, picked out a dress, put it on, and then put it back. I decided I just couldn't take the chance. I ran back to my thrown-away nightgown and put it back on. I was shaking with desire and fear. This time, when I went back to bed, I left the lights on. I laid there in bed, looking at myself in the mirror and playing with the covers again, trying to find the perfect spot to look at myself. I was completely and utterly in love. I thought over and over that I should take off my clothes and go to sleep, but I just couldn't do it. Even though I was tired, I didn't care at all about getting enough sleep. I pretended to be living as a girl, and everybody accepted the way I was. After 3 a.m., everything was just so perfect that I fell asleep in the middle of a dream. You're probably waiting for me to say that I got caught the next morning, still wearing my cousin's frills, but I didn't. Instead, I woke up just over an hour later with my heart pounding and my body still tingling from the clothes I was wearing. I put them back where I found them, and I almost cried because I didn't want to give them up. The next morning, I woke up feeling pretty rested and thinking about how great the night before had been. The ice storm ended early, and my mom took us home the next day, so I didn't get to stay in the room for another night. Even though I got to see and wear the best clothes ever, and this would only make me want to dress up more, I couldn't help but feel a sense of longing as I left the room, knowing that I wouldn't have another chance to experience that same level of luxury. That night is still one of my favorite memories, and it's the inspiration for the way I look now. I never get tired of how those pretty, frilly clothes and my soft, girly surroundings make me feel. The experience of that night ignited a passion for fashion within me. I find joy in expressing myself through my clothing choices and creating a feminine aesthetic that reflects the enchanting atmosphere of that memorable evening. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.